President Obama come out yesterday and speak at some length as he has in multiple shootings over the course of his presidency. He mentioned we know he's come out after the shootings at Fort Hood and in Tucson, Newtown, Connecticut, in Charleston, South Carolina. He made this point, Naftali, this is something we should politicize. He said he knew he'd be accused by some of politicizing this shooting. He said it is relevant to the body politic. This is a political choice that we make to allow this to happen every few months in America.
It was remarkable to see the president's emotion and anger, but also sort of his fatalism. I think it's rare to see him not only have such strong feelings about what he was talking about, but also pretty much admit that there was nothing much he could do about it. And if you look at his domestic accomplishments, actually he's gotten stuff done in a range of issues, from healthcare to immigration to the environment, whether it's through executive orders or legislation. But this is one that he has not been able to move the ball on at all. And to see a president stand in the White House podium, feeling emotion, feeling anger, and admitting at the same time that there wasn't anything he could do was really an unusual spectacle, I thought.
And yet it seemed to break down exactly the same way politically, even though he said it's important to politicize it. Whether you saw it on Twitter or on Facebook, or if you're watching cable news, the same voice is coming out defending guns and the right for people to control guns, saying the president shouldn't make this about guns. This is about much more complicated issues, whether this person was mentally ill, whether this person was coming from an environment that made him violent. This isn't about guns, to people coming out and saying, of course this is about guns. It's always about guns. So it does feel there is a fatalism to it, because it feels like we're back into the same sort of Groundhog Day-ness of a shooting.
At the same time, though, the president did call on voters to make decisions and to think about, and as he said, whether the organization, especially for gun owners, referring to the NRA without naming them, represents you, speaks for you in the way that he says most people would favor some, as he calls it, common sense gun control legislation.
Absolutely. I mean, he really went right after the National Rifle Association, though he did not identify them and they did not have an immediate response to his comments. But, he was combative. He did make a specific appeal to gun owners, which was a little more pointed than he's done in the past. Kind of preemptively mocked them for cranking out the press releases.
The NRA.
The NRA and other organizations for calling for more guns. And you did get the sense that, what he absolutely feels powerless, as Naftali mentioned. At the same time, he clearly thought that the most powerful thing he could do was come out at this moment, and really actually there was something meta about it, that he talked about how routine the press coverage is, the conversations are, and his own comments. And I think he did that as he talked about us becoming numb to this, in a way to try to pierce through that.